like this, like... Hello there. I know what you're thinking. Where did I come from? Where did I begin? Well, I'm here to answer that question for you with a simple diagram that I learned in my anatomy class. Beautiful, isn't it? The birth of life. It's strange to think that we all just started out as sperms. Using the enzymes in the sperm cell, we digest the first layer of the embryo to make a zygote. We'll get back to you later. These squirrels are gathering nuts for the family for the winter. But a fun thing about the female squirrel is that she's in ovulation, a process by which a female's menstrual cycle in a mature ovarian follicle ruptures and discharges an ovum, which means she's going to be an expecting mother thanks to this father squirrel. It's now time for Mr. Stork, coming to speed up the process of this wonderful thing we call life. So here we have the cell in the embryo, fertilizing it with the sperm through the zygote. After which, it goes into the first stages and carries on. Oh, what's this? Early cleavage, fourth cell stage. Oh, it's growing more and more. Oh, hello, Mr. Morula, which is an embryo at an early stage of the embryonic development, consisting of cells in a solid ball contained within the zona possuta. Now, let's keep going on and see what happens. Oh, a blastocyst cavity, which is a structure formed in the early embryogenesis of mammals. After the formation of the morula, it is specifically a mammalian example of a blastulia. It is a process of an inner cell mass, or embryoblast, which subsequently forms the embryo and an outer layer of the cells, or trophoblast, which later forms the placenta. Well, let's see what's going on here. Oh, here we go. Here is the cavity in which it is in. And starts to develop within the uterus, or in this case, Mr. Stork's bag. And here is the endometrium. Beautiful, isn't it? Now let's go back to some things that we may have skipped over, like early cleavage, which is right here. Early cleavage is the division of cells in the early embryo. As it starts to divide, it heads through the uterine tubes, which convey the ovia from the ovaries to the cavity of the uterus. They are two in number, one on either side, situated in the upper right margin in the pelvis of the mother. But for Mr. Stork's sake, we'll just have one tube. It then becomes, if I can find it, a trophoblast, which are cells forming on the outer layer of the blastocyst, which provide nutrients to the embryo. As you can see right here, the trophoblasts are developing along the outside. Kind of looks like a raspberry, but it's a very, very small raspberry. Early blastocyst. Once the morula develops in the inner cavity, the embryo achieved a new developmental milestone and is called the blastocyst. When it then heads into the blastocyst cavity, where it then starts its fetal stage and starts to become one with the mother. The inner cell mass is the mass of the cells inside the primordial embryo that will eventually give rise to the definitive structures of the fetus, where it will stay here in the blastocyst cavity. And of course we have implantation, which is the attachment of the fertilized cell and traveled through the fallopian tube and into the inner linings of the uterus. Implantation happens about a week after ovulation with a range of 6 to 12 days after fertilization. To wrap up, we have the female side. We've been talking mostly about the male side, but there are two parts to this puzzle. The uterus is the major female sex organ, which is in most mammals, including humans, which is where most of this process will take place. Endoderm is one of the 3 primary germ cell layers in the very early stages of the embryo. Amnion is a membrane building the anatomic sac that surrounds and protects the embryo after fertilization as it grows. Look at the little young lad going about its life, getting there. Chronic villi are villi that sprout from the coryn in order to give a maximum area of contact with the maternal blood, so it becomes close with its mother. How precious! Mesoderm germ cell layers in the very early embryo, and a placenta organ that connects the developing fetus to the uterine wall, allowing nutrient uptake, waste elimination, and gas exchange via the mother's blood supply, while sitting here in the blastocyst cavity. Secondary oocyte is an immature ovum or egg cell. The urinary cavity is the cavity of the body in the uterus. Body stalk, or as we like to call it, the umbilical cord, is the connecting cord from the developing embryo or fetus to the placenta. So once this little baby gets bigger, it will start connecting and become a bigger baby, which is too big for us to draw or present to you. Ectoderm differentiates to form the nervous system, so this baby can really get rockin'. But not really, cause rock and roll is bad for your soul. And the fetus is the developing mammal or other viviparous vertebrate after the embryonic stage and before birth. How precious it really is. And here we have it, the final stages of the fetus, growing inside its mother, becoming one with it, loving it, cherishing it. It's even developing a little bum-bum. In time, the fetus will grow too big to live within its mother's uterus, in which time it'll become, time for it to be born. And then we have little bundles of joy, like this, darling. Oh, look at you, so sweet, so tender, so young and innocent. And there you have it, the birthing stages. So young, so innocent, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
No squirrels were harmed in the filming of this video.